Hi, everybody, and welcome to 401 Operations Management. I am Dr. McElroy, and I'll be your professor for this course. I wanted to give you today a brief tip for success, a tip for success in the course around your learning objectives. First, let's take a quick look at where you'll find your learning objectives. In the modules view, when you open up the week of study, you'll find listed an introduction to each week. Within that introduction, you will find weekly outcomes, which are your learning objectives. All right, so let's dig into learning objectives. What are they and how can you use them for success? Basically, learning objectives are brief statements, action statements, things that you should be able to do after a course of study. Basically, what you'll find within the learning objectives is an action verb pointing to a predicate. So an action verb says things you should be able to do: describe, explain, use. Let me tell you the two ways learning objectives are used generally. One is their learning objectives are used by the instructional designer. When a course is laid out, there are a number of objectives that are desired for the course. These, again, are action verbs pointing to a predicate, something you should be able to do. Then the instructional designer simply designs an entire course of study, readings, quizzes, assignments such as writing assignments that will lead you to the development of skills and abilities around those learning objectives. Now, that's the first major use of learning objectives. Let's take a look at how you could use learning objectives for success in the course. Number one, and I've told 1,000 students this, in the beginning of the week, at the very start of your week of study, take your learning objectives, be sure you well understand what they are. These are the things that will guide your study, influence your study through the week. They suggest, point to things that you will want to be able to do at the end of your study. Knowing your learning objectives helps you focus on critical, pertinent material within all of your reading, all of your research. All right, so use them in the beginning of the week as a guide. And again, I've told 1,000 students this. Suggestion, I would print them off, cut them out, and use your weekly learning objectives as a bookmark. They are always with you as you study. Now, how can you use them at the end of the week? In that, your learning objectives are things you should be able to do after a course of study. Take your learning objectives at the end of the week and use them as a self-test. Can you actually accomplish the objectives, execute the objectives that are listed? Here's a quick tip. In your self-test, if you find that you can't execute one of the learning objectives, be sure to go back and review that material in your textbook or your articles or in your own research. So let's take a quick look now. What are your learning objectives for week one? You can read all of these online or on the slide, but let's take a look at the first one as an example. What is the action verb? Define. What is the predicate to which it points? Operations management. What would you have to clearly be able to do at the end of the week of study? Clearly define what is operations management. All right, I hope this helps everyone. Good luck with your studies. Let these learning objectives be your guide to your study, and I'll see you online.